This is the opposite field outlook. There's no music today, so we're just gonna. I'm a bad producer. I've been on vacation. Just pretend there's music. Pretend I have a witty one-liner to say. Um, and we'll get into the episode. I'm your host, Jack Tarwater. Next to me is Neal. Andrew is not here because he's a responsible student. Um, and he has a test tomorrow. Neal, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. I don't even know if there's much to say. I went to some Angel games. That was kind of fun.
Nice. That's
Uh,
cool.
did they win? I don't think they did.
You went to the Nationals game?
Yeah, the Nationals. Did they win those?
We won two out of three.
Okay,
So
so I went to one of the wins at
yeah.
least. And I probably saw the other loss. It was fun. Fun to go to some games.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to a game yet this season. It's kind of suboptimal, but what are you gonna do? The reason we're doing this episode on a Tuesday, and such is because I was in New Jersey for the weekend. I spent Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in New Jersey, visiting my girlfriend. Yeah,
Fun.
New Jersey is an interesting place.
Yeah, pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah, New York City was fun, so yeah, we had a great time. It was fine. Didn't get a lot of sleep though. It's a really interesting schedule. My girlfriend likes to go to sleep really late. Hugh Young is a late sleeper. We're talking 3 to 4 a.m. But
Jesus Christ.
when you're visiting, you can't really get up late. So there's a lot of going to bed late and getting up early and suffering. Um, what are you gonna do? I watched a little bit of baseball, not that much. I tuned into a lot of Angels losses this weekend to the Boston Red Sox.
Tell me about
Of
it.
all the teams. Um, anyway, let's get into the baseball. Here is the American League recap. The Yankees visited the Guardians for 3 games. They lost the first. They take the last two. Bieber had a rough few innings in the first game, but it worked out for him. Garrett Cole was elite in Game 2. That's kind of who he is. Emmanuel Clase choked in Game 3, allowing a game-winning single to Oswaldo Cabrera. The A's visited the O's, and they lost 3-4. Ryan Mountcastle, good. A's, bad. Adley Rutschman, good. A's, bad. Austin Hayes, good. A's, bad. The Bostonians visit Tampa. Tampa stays undefeated through 4 more games. Will they ever lose?
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Probably. The Tigers visit the Blue Jays, and they lose 2-3. Who could have thought that the Tigers would lose to the Blue Jays? Javi Baez already making his highlight reel look atrocious. The White Sox go to the Twin Cities, and the Twins beat them 2-1. They're all pretty close games. Twins pitching keeps it close in the final 2 games to secure them the series victory. Giolito has a pretty nice outing, 5 hits, 1 earned run in the last game. My Royals visit the Rangers in Arlington, and the Rangers only win 2 out of 3. I think that's disappointing if you're a Rangers fan to play the Royals at home and lose a game. Semien and Garcia remain sluggers for the Rangers through this one. Is Bobby Witt a guy? I still can't really decide if he's going to be great or if he's going to be mid. He was good in the last contest, though. Nationals take a trip to Anaheim, and the Halos take 2-3. I'm disappointed with the Angels after this one. Series win is a series win, though. Ohtani and Trout, pretty good. Hunter Renfroe is turning into a key piece in the games that we win, so that's interesting. For the weekend series that we are now 2 days removed from, the Twinnies and the Yankees, they play 4 games and they split. Twins take 1 and 2, and they're probably disappointed to lose 3 and 4. Carlos Correa rakes. Domingo Herman has an incident in Game 2. We'll talk about that in a minute. The Yankees get off free because they're the Yankees, and Garrett Cole pitches 9 innings and allows 0 earned runs in the last game. Giants play in Detroit. They were supposed to play 3 games, but they only played 2. Tigers guarantee a win in the series, though. They won both games that were played. Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter played well for them. Orioles visit the White Sox. Orioles win 2 of 3. Adley put the O's up in Game 1 with a 3-1 double, and they kept that lead supposedly Cedric Mullins is pretty alright. He won them a game. You know how that is. Rays visit the Blue Jays. The Rays lost. Not only their first game, but their first series. They lost 2 to the Blue Jays. The first game was 6-3. Pitching had a bit of a meltdown. Bo Bichette had an ungodly 5-hit day in Game 1. Game 2 goes to the 10th. Despite a run from the Orioles in the 10th, Grandal, Berger, and Colas hit enough to walk off the game. The Oakland Athletics host the New York Metropolitans, and they get swept. The A's are not that great. Mets offense looks really good, or they were just playing the A's. I mean, teams' offenses tend to excel against those guys. Royals host the Braves. They're swept in 3. They didn't stand a chance. Texas showdown. Rangers go to Houston, and the home team takes a series L. The Astros lose 2 of 3. Rangers outscore their opponents. Simply put up a lot of runs in the games that they won. Semien had a fun grand slam in Game 3. I appreciate the fantasy points. The Rockies pay a trip to the M's, and yeah, the M's sweep. Rockies are terrible. Kelenick's finding his groove. J-Rod is him. Luis Castillo is cooking. It's looking great for the Mariners right now. The Angels play the Red Sox and lose 3 of 4. Here's a fun one. In Game 2, Matt Thaiss, catching for the Angels, had 3 catcher's interferences in one game. 2 of them were in the 8th inning to help the Angels load the bases and proceed to lose the game. That is the American League.
What a note to leave it on. Jeez.
My Halos. There's something else, man. They're like, I don't know, we're cursed or something. Someone is always out there sleeping, and it loses us the game.
Yeah.
It was Brandon Drury at first base in one of the games. They turned a double play, and he just grabbed the ball and turned around, and then the runner ran home and scored. Bro, you're just holding the ball at first base. Anyway, let's talk about... I don't know of a lot of news in the American League. I was kind of a little bit busy, but one thing that I did notice is that I did hear about a little bit is the Domingo Germán thing. Supposedly, he had a lot of rosin on his fingers.
Yeah.
Little bit suspicious, right? Rosin. He told the umpires it was rosin. And the umpires said, okay, whatever. Just wash it off. And supposedly, he did go wash it off. But he has more rosin in the dugout, so he reapplied before he went out the next time.
Okay.
And that's really weird because there's plenty of rosin out on the mound. I don't know if he knows that. But the umpires checked him again, and they said, buddy, we told you. Like, you gotta have this stuff off your fingers. Which is a little weird to me. Like, umpires... checking for sticky stuff, they find it and say, just go wash it off. And then the guy doesn't just wash it off. And then they kind of just say, oh, well, what are we supposed to do about it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I read that, like, they told him to wash his hands. And I read that once he did, and, like they made a whole thing about it. I heard when he came back, like, his what was it? His spin rate like dropped like dramatically.
Yeah, I don't know.
I saw. So
I haven't got a chance to look at that. It was all around just very weird and like suspicious. Like if it's actually rosin, just wash it off. And if it's not rosin, then why are the umpires saying to go wash it off? They should just eject you. That's
yeah, like it doesn't make sense no matter what it was.
My other beef with this thing is that the sticky stuff doesn't really matter until they stop fucking with the baseball, you know?
True.
Like it seems like every other day they have a juiced ball and a dead ball, and they're, like, trying them all out, and, like, this one has seams that are raised an extra quarter inch, and the pitchers are like, wow, this baseball's really slippery. But they're not allowed to mess with it, but MLB is messing with it. I really don't know what the deal is with baseballs, and I don't really care. Like, I'm not that mad at the umpires, and I'm not that mad at Domingo Germán. Like, it doesn't... MLB's got to figure it out first.
Yeah, they don't regulate well. That's clear observation.
So. Any other news you know from the American League? And then
American League.
If not, we'll go over standings.
I don't know. I mean, Tampa still looks good. That's
Tampa
kind of
looks
cool.
really good. I'm kind of hopping on their bandwagon since my Angels will finish the season 20 games under 500 probably.
Something
It's
like
looking
that.
like it.
Yeah, I just watched through fantasy and I see Brandon Lau pop off, so
Yeah.
that's how I know they're doing good.
In the East, Tampa Bay Rays lead, unsurprisingly. They're up 15 games in the win column, 3 games in the loss column with an 833 winning percent. I bet that's sustainable. The Toronto Blue Jays are 11-7 in second place. The New York Yankees are tied with the Baltimore Orioles at 10-7, and the Boston Red Sox are 500.
Garbage.
They're 500. 500 is not that bad. It's enough to almost
Garbage,
get
no.
you into the playoffs.
True.
Minnesota Twins are 10-7. Ugh, that sounds like a central stat line.
Ugh.
10-7, 588 winning percentage, first place. Cleveland Guardians, second place. They're 500, 9-9. The Detroit Tigers are 7-9. The Chicago White Sox are 7-11. They're out. Looks like
7-11.
my preseason prediction is looking to verify right now, and the Kansas City
Yeah.
Royals are 4-14. I'm kind of interested in what their pace is. I'll have that number at the end of this little standings going.
Oh, it's got to be so bad.
Texas Rangers are 11-6 in first place in the West. The Angels are second place in the West at 9-8. Seattle Mariners are 8-9. Houston Astros are 8-10. And the Oakland Athletics are a legendary 3-14.
That's some impressive stats
It
in the
really
wrong
is.
direction.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Do you
Yeah,
hear
it's like impressively
that
bad.
they're? Do you hear that they are planning to show the owners that the low attendance isn't because there's no fans?
They're gonna show them?
What they're gonna do is they're gonna organize a day where all of the A's fans go to a game. All of them go to a game. Sell out the ballpark, like, or get as close
Okay.
to selling it out as they can, right? Just a random game. Just to prove that it's not the fans that are causing this atrocious attendance. You know, like
Okay.
the owners might be writing off the attendance as, oh, we have no fans in this area, whatever. They're all gonna
Yeah,
show up wearing their A's gear, and the owner's gonna have to say, "Fuck, this got to be on me, right?" Except we all know that's not gonna happen, and the A's are gonna try to go to Vegas. The
That's
Kansas
okay.
City Royals are on pace to get 36 wins.
Okay. That's doable.
The A's are on pace for 29 wins
Oh my god.
this season.
You
So,
kidding?
yeah, it's tough.
Jeez. I guess all years start like this,
Yeah,
and then
every year
eventually they
starts like
balance
this.
out.
The Reds went like 3-30 to start it off, which is
Yeah.
significantly worse than this. But I don't know. The stats are a little funny.
Yeah, it was really worse.
It was way.
Yeah.
No team in the National League is doing as bad as either the Royals or the A's so far.
Mhm.
Those two are the worst.
That's so facts. Yeah, they're not. They're I don't know, man. They got worse standards than the Rockies. I don't even think they're gonna play 500 ball.
Yeah. God, what a clown. Still, every time I think of that guy, I'm like, man, this guy said the benchmark is 500, and he said, I'm pretty sure we can get there. Any team that is willing to spend money gets to 500. Whether or not they make the
Oh, yeah.
playoffs is a little iffy. Any team that spends money, I know that the Rockies are a small market team, but they have the money to make it to 500.
Yeah. No, they do. They're just mismanaged,
Yeah.
I guess is what we'd say.
Okay. You're up. Have fun.
All right, guys. Let's get into it. Okay. So the Dodgers, they faced the Giants in San Fran. They took 2 of 3, so it was a good series. Game 1, 9-1 Dodgers. Julio Urias has a quality start, and Giants legend Sean Yella whoever that is, gives up 4 runs by himself, so that's pretty cool. Game 2, 5-0. Dodgers offense couldn't get started, and the pen is garbage, as all Dodger fans know. Game 3, 10-5 Dodgers. Kershaw has a good start, he takes the win, and Taylor Rogers implodes. He gives up 4 runs, doesn't even get an out. Sucks for him.
That's
The
tough for
Padres, they
TRA.
took on the Mets. I know, right? They took on the Mets in New York, and they lose the series 1-3. That's cool. Game 1, 5-0 Mets. Yu Darvish looks really bad. 5 runs, 6.1 innings. Really bad outing for him. Scherzer, he looks vintage, and he goes the distance. The Padres, they get a hit on 5 innings off of Scherzer, so that was good. Game 2, 4-2 Padres. Close game, but Bogarts, it's a 2-run homer, ends up winning the game for the Padres. Game 3, 5-2 Mets. Blake Snell takes the loss, giving up 3 runs, and the pen is garbage. They give up 2 more. Padres could only score 2 in the first, so clear win for the Mets. The D-backs, they take on the Brewers, and they win the series 2-3 to stay in first place. D-backs are hot. Game 1, 3-0 D-backs. Zach Gallen looks amazing. 7 innings, 11 Ks, and only 3 hits. Potential Cy Young winner, in my opinion. Game 2, 7-1 Brewers. Merrill Kelly looks fine, but offense could not score against Corbin Burns, who is the ace. He threw 8-inning gem, collecting 8 Ks, no runs. Good job for Corbin Burns.
That's
Game 3, 7-3 D-backs. Jansen Junk. He looks bad.
Former Angel. I saw his
Actually?
MLB debut. Yes, sir.
I did not know that.
Yes, sir.
Good for you. Well, he sucks. He gives up 4 runs on 4.2 innings. It was offensively led by Lourdes Gurriel and Josh Rojas. Also, Corbin Carroll's awesome. Love Corbin Carroll. Jason Junk sucks. Rockies, they took 1 of 3 against the Cardinals. Game 1, their only win, 7-4 Rockies. Herman Marquez, he looks better than Steven Matz, who sucks. He allows 4 less runs than Steven Matz, and the Cardinals starter is awful. Game 2, 9-6 Cardinals. This game was tied until the Cardinals 3-run rally in the 9th to take the win. Game 3, 7-4 Cardinals. This game was also tied until the 8th when Nolan Gorman, he hits a 2-run homer, and Gorman looks amazing to start the year. The Pirates, they host the Astros in a 3-game series and won 1 of 3. Game 1 goes 8-4 Astros. Framber Valdez, he pitches a quality start, and Ronzi Contreras, he is not that great. He gives up 7 runs, really bad by him. Game 2, 7-4 Pirates. Bregman and Tucker homer, but it's not enough for Suwinski and Choi, followed by Bay, who all homer. Good offensive day for the Pirates. Game 3, 7-0 Astros. Rich Hill is good, but his offense does not show up as they are shut out, and the Pirates' bullpen cannot hold any lead or any close game whatsoever. The Phillies continue to struggle. They lose a series to the Marlins. Goes 1-2. Game 1 goes 15-3. 15-3. Geez, I had to double check that. 15-3 Phillies. 15-4 Phillies. I just remembered. 15-4 Phillies. Phillies have an offensive explosion with almost everyone collecting a hit. Game 2, 8-4 Marlins. Aaron Nola, he had a bad start, and the Phillies pen gives up 4 more runs to a strong 1-4 Marlins lineup. That 1-4 is really good. Game 3, 3-2 Marlins. Close game, but it's decided in extras when De La Cruz, he singles to score in the extra innings runner on second base against Gregory Soto. The Cubs, they hosted the Marlins for some interleague play, and they win the series 2-1. Game 1 goes 3-2 Cubs. Close game, but in the 10th, Nico Horner, he walks it off with a single. The extra inning runner also scores in that game. Game 2, 14-9 Cubs. Chris Flexen, he looks awful as of late with a 12.96 ERA in the past week, so that's pretty impressively bad. He gives up 8 runs in his start and can't get past the 3rd inning. Game 3, 5-2 Mariners. Marcus Stroman, he has a good start, but the Cubs pen blows it with a 2-run homer in the 8th. The Dodgers, they hosted the Cubs, and they lose 2 of 3. Really bad series for them. Game 1, 8-2 Cubs. Thor looks mid, and Andre Jackson, he gives up 5 runs by himself, basically throwing away the win. Ian Happ and Yan Gomes look like basically Jesus Christ in this game. Game 2, 2-1 Dodgers. The pen was actually good. They give up 0 runs. The Dodgers were scoreless until they walked it off in the 9th. It was a really exciting game. It looked like it was all going downhill until David Peralta shows up. Game 3, 3-2 Cubs. Urias has a fine start, but in the 9th, it was tainted by 3 terrible strike calls by the ump. Dodgers couldn't come back. They were trying to come back, but ump did not give them a chance. The Cardinals, they hosted the Pirates, and they tied the series in 4 games. Game 1, 5-0 Pirates. Montgomery, he was good, but his offense didn't show up as they were shut out. The pen could not hold up against the sneaky Pirates offense, who was pretty sneaky. Game 2, 3-0 Cardinals. Cardinals pitching staff shuts out the Pirates this time. And this game, they allow 8 hits, but somehow the shutout is complete. Game 3, 6-3 Pirates. This game was tied in the 10th, but Jordan Hicks sucks. He blows the game for the Cardinals. Game 4, 5-4 Cardinals, down 4-3 in the 10th. Gorman hits a double to tie the game. Cardinals legend Tommy Edman, he singles to drive in the winning run. The Guardians, they come to Washington, D.C., and they take a 2-of-3 win series against the Nationals. Game 1, 4-3 Guardians. Josh Bell and J-Ram, they lead the Guardians to a late inning win. Game 2, 6-4 Guardians. Both teams, they have the same amount of hits. Guardians were more efficient with their hits. Game 3, 7-6 Nationals. Back and forth game of a bunch of nobodies, but the Nationals win. The Padres, they host the Brewers, and they lose the series 3-1. Game 1 goes 4-3 Brewers. All runs were scored by homers except Rowdy Tellez. He hits a sac fly towards the later innings, and he wins the game for the Brewers. Game 2, 11-2 Brewers. Eric Lauer is quality. Michael Wacha sucks. He's basically gave up like on the other lineup, 8 of the 9 hitters got a hit. So that kind of says something. Game 3, 10-3 Padres. Cronenworth, he had himself a day. He got them their only win of the series. Game 4, 1-0 Brewers. Yu Darvish, he bounced back after his bad start against the Mets, and he has a pretty good quality start. The Padres score 0 runs, so he still takes the loss. That sucks. The D-backs, they went to the Marlins, and they lose the series 1-2. Game 1 goes 5-1 Marlins. Madison put the bum in Bumgarner, giving up 5 runs on 5 innings. Game 2, 3-2 Marlins, close game, but was decided by a Arias single in the 7th. Game 3, 5-0 D-backs. Alcantara, he has actually a bad outing, giving up 4 runs on 6 innings. And Zach Gallen, again, looks amazing. You fantasy managers are lucky to have him. The Reds, they host the Phillies, and the series was tied in 4 games. Game 1 goes 6-2 Reds, and Andrew's team goes off scoring throughout the whole game, so almost every inning. Game 2, 8-3 Phillies. Taijuan Walker, he has a good outing, and Connor Overton does not have a good outing. Phillies offense does what it was built to do, hit and be good. Game 3, 13-0 Reds. Phillies suck the whole game in every possible way. Don't even want to talk about it. Game 4, 14-3 Phillies. Aaron Nola, he had a good start, and the offense just exploded. Basically opposite of what the previous day was. That kind of completes it. That sums it up.
Nice. Nice recap.
Thank you.
What do we got in the National League? I definitely had stuff to say, and then I forgot it all.
Let me look at the teams. Brewers are just so good right now.
Yeah, they're on fire. I don't know how long that'll last. I don't have the Brewers being that great.
Yeah, I don't have them being 12-5 great.
Yeah.
That's really good.
They're just on a little hot streak right now, I think. I know we were talking about all the AL teams as like concrete, but it is not that. Like we're saying the Rays are really good, but
yeah,
it's not.
No, for sure. I don't think the Cardinals will be last to finish the year. What's cool though has been Arizona's been knocking teams around, and it's not just
they're the only team that's above 500 right now in the West.
Yeah. No, they're doing really good. They've beat some good teams, not just the Dodgers. Like they've kind of knocked around a few teams.
My A+ off-season grade is coming to fruition right now. Did you know that Mad Bum has been pitching since 2009?
2009, really?
Yeah.
Jeez, when did Kershaw start pitching? Because aren't they similar?
I don't know. This man is old, and he was like solid.
Kershaw debuted in 2008.
Damn.
And he's way better.
He's definitely. Does he have a better career ERA? Mad Bum is
career.
3, 4, 5. Do you want me to look him up on Baseball Reference?
Yeah, look him up.
Clayton Kershaw first pitched in the bigs in 2008, so he's been in 16 years, as opposed to Mad Bum's. Wow. Oh my God, this guy's going in the Hall of Fame.
Kershaw?
Like, first ballot. Like he's gonna announce his retirement and then be in the Hall of Fame.
Instantly.
Like,
they're gonna knock on his door.
Like the tweet is gonna be, they're gonna reply to his tweet when he tweets I'm retired. The Hall of Fame is gonna reply to his tweet. Mad Bum's career ERA is 3.45. Clayton Kershaw's career ERA is 2.49.
Jeez. Dude, 2014 Kershaw was just something that no one can ever, wrap their head around.
177. Unreal. real. 1.77 ERA. Over 198 innings pitched. Oh my God.
He's it, man.
He led the major leagues in ERA, win-loss percentage, complete games, ERA plus, FIP, WHIP, strikeouts per 9, and strikeouts per walk.
That's insane, man. 2014 Kershaw was just something else.
All-Star, Cy Young, and MVP.
MVP. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Is he the last pitcher to have won MVP?
I don't know. Let me look that up.
Interesting. Last year it was Judge and Goldie, then Otani Harper, then Jose Abreu and Freddie Freeman. That's 2020, doesn't count.
Yeah.
Mike Trout, Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts, Christian Yelich. In 2017, it's Altuve and Stanton. That should be Aaron Judge, but you know how it is. Mike Trout, Chris Bryant in 2016, Josh Donaldson, man, guy's on the Yankees and they don't like him very much. Bryce Harper in 2015 as well, and 2014 we have Mike Trout and Clayton Kershaw.
He was the last man to be a pitcher. I mean, I think you got to have a season like that to win the MVP.
Yeah.
A 1.77 ERA.
Yeah. Justin JV in 2011 had a 2.4 ERA season. And
That's insane.
He won MVP for that.
I guess the offense just wasn't as good as Aaron Judge.
Yeah. Well, he also had 251 innings pitched, which is...
Oh, jeez.
You know, that's a few.
That's a workhorse.
That's a few innings. Wow, that's a lot of innings. 24 wins, 5 losses. And 250 strikeouts. That's cool. Good for him.
Yep. That's a good year. I'm really high on Zach Gallen right now.
Yeah.
He just looks so good.
Wonder who the next pitcher will be that wins it. Besides the man, the myth, the legend, better than Babe Ruth, better than anyone that's ever played the game before. We all know that he might win MVP again, but he doesn't count as a pitcher. He counts as a two-way player. Yeah. Okay. What general news items did we want to talk about? We wanted to talk about the direction that baseball is going, because it has been announced in the Atlantic League that they are experimenting with a designated pinch runner.
Uh-oh.
So supposedly the whole scheme behind that is you can have someone slow get on base. I didn't choose this graphic, but on Codify Baseball on Twitter, they used a picture of Danny Vogelbach. So I think they're assuming that whenever Danny Vogelbach gets on base, they're going to pinch run for him, but that's besides the point. When you get a slow player on base, you can pinch run for him with a designated pinch runner. That's an interesting thing. I wonder how they'll put that in the lineup card.
I know, right?
Yeah. And the pinch runner will run around the bases, and the player that got rammed for comes back in when that player is off the base pads. Like Danny Vogelbach will keep hitting or playing in the field or whatever he's doing at the moment. Which, I don't know. You get a guy like, who's a guy with plus speed and defense, but like not hitting? Like a rangy outfielder.
Kevin Kiermaier, Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger's hoping to turn it around.
Offensively, yeah.
Dodgers.
We'll see.
Kevin Kiermaier is a good example.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the pinch runner doesn't work for defense, huh? So it would just be base running. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's just for that running aspect.
I know the idea is to get stolen bases up, but stolen bases is up. I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot very soon. You know?
Yeah. No, it's something I'm not for.
Yeah.
To be frank, I like you know how they like value like there's a value placed on people like Trey Turner, who obviously isn't like known for that good of a glove right now,
Yeah.
but these players who just like, oh, he hits for power, hits for contact, he's fast, he can
Yeah.
field, he can. It's like you're just gonna like start breaking down the player so that they only need one tool, and then you just put that player in that tool where they do good. And it's
Yeah.
like that's not like the point of it. It's like
They're trying
the
to
whole
make
point
it
of a
like
lineup is they play the position and then they go and hit. You know,
yeah.
they're on
They
base, they run.
it's kind of like football. You know, you get
Yeah,
these
yeah,
guys that are ultra specialized and they sit
yeah.
out for half the game and they come in for half the game. Can you imagine being the designated pinch runner? You just sit in the dugout. You don't do anything. You just sit there until the ninth inning. But you have to
When it
be there for
matters.
the game.
Yeah, like in uniform.
Weird.
They, I bet certain teams would like go out and find just like hella fast people that aren't even baseball players.
Thing is, teams already do that, but they like sign the guy in September and he plays in the World Series for them. There's like a couple
Yeah,
of
just to run.
guys that just hang out in the dugout and they. What's his name? Terrence Gore? Is that his name?
They like whip out their like cleats for running, like track
Yeah.
cleats.
Terrence Gore. His position listed in Baseball Reference is pinch runner. So, and
Really?
outfielder. Yeah, but whatever. He has a career 58 OPS plus and a career batting average of 216. He played a lot of years with the Kansas City Royals during their little run. He played
So
in 2018 with Chicago, 2019 again with Kansas City. 2020 he played on the World Series Dodgers, and in 2022 he played with the New York Mets. Now, with the Dodgers, he recorded no statistics. However, he was in 2 games, which means that he must have been a pinch runner in 2 games, right?
yeah, that makes sense.
For, let's see. Yeah, he has a lot of stolen bases for only having like 3 plate appearances in a
Oh
season.
yeah,
You know?
43 in his career.
Yeah. In 2016 with the Kansas City Royals, he appeared in 17 games. He had 3 at bats, but he scored 6 times. He had 11 stolen bases.
How is that
So
possible?
he had a negative 100 OPS plus in 2016.
What?
And he got 4 more contracts after that. So I don't know. I think it, I don't. I think the pitch clock and uh, the pickoff rules
Hmm.
ruined him because I think half of his value is to sit on first base and just fuck with the pitcher. You know,
Yeah,
like
to make a mess up.
I think when you're in Game 5 of the division series, and I don't know, Max Scherzer comes in to get the save in the ninth inning, and someone walks, and Terrence Gore is paid to run for them. I think the pitcher has to. I think he has a big oh shit moment. Like I gotta really
Yeah.
hold this runner, but I don't think it matters anymore. You can't really hold runners.
Yeah.
Holding
No,
runners is not really a thing that you can do anymore.
yeah. No, I think they either just take off or stay, because you only really get 2 chances to pick them off.
Yeah.
So I think it's more on the catcher at this point to try and hold them, because you just gotta throw them out.
Which
Um,
I don't know. Kind of weird, if you ask me.
I think it encourages if that kid like pinch hitter or pinch runner happened. I think it would just encourage teams to like hold on to guys like this like through the year rather than just towards the end,
Yeah.
because they can always just pinch someone else in, and then like I know it's a roster spot, but still, like if you have someone really speedy on the base paths who just only does that and won't like be a
Yeah.
offensive or defensive liability, then it's like totally worth it.
I mean, admittedly, it would be better for these guys probably.
It would
Uh,
probably be better to like create more action, like Daniel Vogelback on the bases and like what
yeah,
everyone wants to be seeing.
and Terrence Gore, he definitely get more like players like Terrence Gore would definitely get more contracts and such.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I think they had value, and then the value got killed. And yeah, I'm not really sure what. Like stolen bases are already up. I kind of want Rob Manfred to just chill for a second. Like, buddy, we're increasing stolen bases. Let's just see how this pans out,
Yeah,
right? And I also don't like the pitch clock or the pickoff rules. So that means that I'm really not a fan of the of this at all.
yeah,
I feel like hitting is an essential part of being a baseball player.
yeah.
And that's
Like
also
you
kind of
hit.
why I liked I think I had this take on this show that the DH in the National League is lame.
Yeah, was that your take?
Uh-huh. I think so. I had that take for a long time. And then I thought about it a little and I was like, yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I'm kind of I kind of like it. And it would give players like Shohei Otani like an absurd opportunity in the National League because
Yeah,
National Leagues have 8 players and one player that gets out, and an NL team with Shohei Otani would have a 9-person roster. I don't know.
hmm, yeah, yeah. No, that was the whole. I was scared to like when Universal DH was floated around because I was being exaggerating, but I was like, at what point do they try and continue this to other positions? Like,
Yeah,
okay, the pitcher doesn't have to hit, and then what? Like,
the
they'll just
catcher
like be like, oh,
catcher would
catchers
be
don't really
next.
hit that often. Let's just like get rid of that
Yeah,
and like maybe you're slow on the base pass. We'll just like make at some point you're just gonna carry it until you have two different teams, like two
yeah,
different the offensive and the defensive, and I don't like that. Like I like the tool and the athleticism of a player, and that's just what baseball is.
yeah.
Like it's not a two team like game. So
It would be
yeah,
nice
that's
to
why I was
see the
apprehensive.
owners find guys who have that value instead of trying to make players, you know, like you can find guys that are like good at hitting and good at running and like they're kind of not that common, but they're there. And even
Mm,
if you can't find a guy who's great at everything, getting a teams have been focusing on slugging like it's been this like epiphany. So you end up with these catchers that strike out an unbelievable amount, but they hit nukes when they get a hit, and they're
yeah,
slow and they have terrible defense. And now teams are complaining like, "Oh, all of our catchers are slow and they have terrible defense and they strike out a lot." And it's like, "Oh, wow, that's crazy. Whose fault is that?" It's, it's crazy. It's almost
yeah,
like you've been prioritizing that for like 6 years, and then
yeah,
I don't know, even longer
yeah,
than 6 years.
yeah. No, I get it. I think when like the game values something, then that's what all these players will work on. Like defense isn't a stressed thing, and that's why I think defense in general has gone down. Like
Yeah,
offense is just stressed more, so people won't practice it as much.
yeah,
Not to say that everyone's bad at defense. Like there's still good gloves out there, but I think overall as a team, defense has gone down because hitting is more valued.
yeah. I've definitely noticed the defense thing.
Hmm.
Oh my god, it kills me sometimes watching these teams play and like routine ground balls get by, and it's not marked an error, and I'm like, what?
Yep. No, it happens so like the amount of times they just give them the benefit of the doubt and they just rule the hit.
Yeah,
But it's like that like he simply just had to move his glove into the right spot.
it's wild. I'm even though I'm a big Angels fan, there have been like 4 or 5 plays this season where a guy has made a stupid mistake, and I'm like, that's an error, right? And it's not an
Yeah.
error. And I don't know, it feels wrong to, like, when a player makes a stupid play or they just goof. I get that not everyone is, like, great at defense and people make mistakes, but, like, you goof, you get an error. That's just the way that it works.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's strange.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. Um, yeah. No, I think it's bad for the game, and that the game should value the overall value of the player, not just like, oh, they can do this, like, oh, Kyle Schwarber hits bombs, so let's just put him in spots where he can hit bombs. It's like,
Yeah.
no, like, you should feel like just make the player overall round, and keep the game as it is.
You know what's really interesting to me? I saw a statistic. You can see, like, the time of MLB games over the years, right? And it starts really short, and then it gets longer and longer and longer. And then there's this one year, might be 2012. There's this huge spike. It jumps like 15, 20 minutes from one year to the next. And obviously the question is, why did that happen? And it's because teams started using more pitchers. There's, like, more pitching changes, which is the thing that slows these games down the most, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It would be interesting to see what would happen if, to speed up the game, instead of implementing a pitch clock or a pickoff limit, if the owners limited the number of pitchers you could have on your roster. So you'd end up with guys,
Okay.
maybe they don't have the velo, maybe they don't have the stuff, but they eat innings. And that would create offense. Because you'd have pitchers that don't have the plus stuff and the plus velo, but throw, like, relievers that come in for 3 innings instead of 15 pitches. It would be very interesting to see what would happen. That's never going to happen, but
Yeah, no.
I think the current roster limit for pitchers is 14, unless I'm mistaken.
That sounds about right. I think you can rock an extra pitcher.
26-man roster. Cool. Yeah, I know that there's 26 people on the roster. Let's see. 26-man roster in 2020. Yeah. Expanded roster. September call-ups. I don't know. I can't find anything quick. So we'll say it's 14, but if you made it 12, there wouldn't be as many pitching changes. And you'd have to get guys that throw more innings, or even, like, get pitchers who throw absolute velo to just slow it down for a minute.
Yeah.
Rosters are limited to
I've heard
13.
13. Okay.
Wait.
I mean, that's how.
Oh, that was
It's like
2022. Sorry. It's 14.
It's 14 now. Okay. I've also heard that like, when you think about a game, I know there's a clock now on that right now,
Yeah.
but like, when a guy comes in and there's a pitching change, and then he comes over, he waddles over, and he pitches. Right now, I think it's like a 2-minute, 15-second time for them to just do what they need to warm up. I'm pretty sure, unless it's like an injury.
Yeah.
Like, if the pitcher breaks his arm, then he can come in.
There's
the new guy can
emergency
take his time.
bullpen calls, and you can get a lot of time for those.
But other than those, most of the time, the relievers, he's pitched, like the starter's right now pitching, and it's the 5th, and he's getting tired, and you got to get your reliever going. Like, the guy that they want in next, he's warm, like, he's already up. It's not like last minute the manager calls up the bullpen and is like, okay, I need it in the next 3 minutes. Like, he's got to get up. Like, they get warm. They take their time. And it'd be interesting to see how much time would be eliminated if that warm-up time on the mound was just cut. So that they warm up in the pen, they get up, and you go.
See, the thing is, sometimes the manager does surprise the reliever a little bit. You know when starters have those atrocious innings out of the blue. Um,
Yeah.
the other day, one of the Angels starters threw four. It was Reed Detmers. Reed Detmers had 4 innings of no hit baseball. He allowed 3 base runners and then gave up a grand slam. So, yeah, you as an Angels fan, you're sitting there and you go, "Damn, that fucking sucks." But as the manager, you're like, Reed Detmers has like 60 pitches at most going into the 5th inning, right? There's no way, and
Yeah.
he's throwing no hit baseball. There's no way this guy comes out of the game, and he walks a guy, and then he gives up a hit, and this is all like stuff that happens normally in starting like starters just let base runners on. That's just what happens. But then he walks another guy, and then he gives up a grand slam. And I think at that point, as a manager, Reed Detmers should be out of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Because it's
he
already
didn't
later in the
have
game.
anybody in the pen. And he's been struggling through these at-bats, so he's been racking up the pitch count. So you have like 2 batters to get someone up and moving in the pen. That's the only... and the mound conditions are sometimes different.
Yeah, but
Especially
I think
at Angel Stadium, there's no... The bullpen mounds are kind of, I don't know, they look a little strange.
the pressure of getting your guys warmed and also the act of trying to limit changes of pitchers would be accomplished as well by this, because let's say you see Reed and he just like gets absolutely trashed right now,
Yeah.
like by the snap of your fingers.
5th inning,
And
no
you're just
outs, gives
watching
up a
like,
grand slam.
yeah, you're watching like Walter White with that open mouth face, like what just happened? You know, I think as the manager, you're like, okay, well, I got to start warming up a guy because Reed is he's toast.
Yeah.
He's like burnt toast
cooked.
right now.
Yeah.
So I think that would also help limit the pitching swaps, because you'd probably be like, well, crap, I got to let Reed go for a little bit to get my bullpen some time. And then that would also, in turn, just end up limiting the amount of pitching changes, because you're like, okay, I need some time and to get whoever's coming in ready. And I think even though like it might be sudden for the manager, I think they'd adapt eventually and it would still have the same effect, if you know what I'm saying.
Interesting. So, are you saying relievers get no warm-up pitches upon
Yeah,
entering the game?
like the pen is basically where you get warmed up.
Interesting. So you allow enough time for them to run out to the mound, and then it's time to pitch.
Right. I think starters it's different because their warm-up time is sitting in the dugout.
Yeah.
So obviously they need a little bit of warm-up. But like if you're starting the inning, get your warm-up time. But if it's mid-inning, maybe you could try and work something where their warm-up time's in the pen, you know?
Yeah. All of those, by the way, I think all of those people, when you talk about speeding the game up, when people say, oh, so there's going to be less commercials, those people are stupid. Because the starting pitcher has to warm up. He has to throw pitches.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be done about that. Bro has been sitting in the dugout for a half inning.
Oh, yeah.
You want him to just go out there and be cold and start throwing pitches? Like, that's a recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah, he has no feel for his stuff. I mean, that was like sometimes even 30 minutes ago. I mean, and most of the time it's only like 15, but
yeah.
Sometimes after a rally, you're coming out there like it felt like you pitched like it almost feels like an hour ago sometimes when you're going up. It actually isn't, but sometimes it can feel like so yesterday, and you get up there and you got to kind of like refigure yourself out, you know?
Yeah.
And you need that time.
Yeah. What if, what would you do if a team wants to use an opener? Like if the Angels want to fight with the Seattle Mariners, and they put Andrew Wantz in, and he throws at the guy. That's not what I mean. Like the Rays are big on openers. What if they want to use an opener?
I think it's fine. Dodgers have used them so often in the past.
Would the starting pitcher get pitches?
Yeah, no. I think you treat him like a reliever. He goes in the pen, warm him up.
Interesting.
He's ready. I mean, that's how I think. Like when they call it an opener and then the starter the starter comes in.
Yeah.
I just look at that as, like, not realistically, but by the book as just they took out the starter really
Interesting.
early, and a reliever came in, and he's gonna throw 5 innings. Like technically, that's how
Yeah.
I look. Like by the book, that's technically what it is. The starter started, he pitched very short, and then they brought in another guy, and he's gonna go very long. You know, technically that.
Yeah.
We all know that's not actually what it is. Like we all know, like Evan Phillips isn't about to go 5 innings. We know he's only going one if we see him to
Yeah.
start. And then like Kershaw comes after. But I think it should still be treated that way. You know.
Yeah. I was mad last season. ESPN also considers those reliever guys that start a game, the openers, as starters in their fantasy league. I had Andrew Wance last year as one of my relievers. And, yeah, you got to start for me. Which was tough.
Yeah, I didn't think about it from a fantasy standpoint. That's gotta be.
I was mad. I was like, and Phil Nevin changed the lineup like 30 minutes before the game started to have him in there, and I was driving to the game, which takes 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, oh well, what are you gonna do? I was terrible anyways, so it's not like that mattered.
True, it didn't matter, but that's so funny.
By the way, Reed Detmers in that game against the Toronto Blue Jays had a 1-2-3 inning. He allowed a Matt Chapman single, got 3 outs, had another 1-2-3 inning, got 2 outs. Matt Chapman walked, then he got a 3rd out. Then Whit Merrifield singled, and then Reed Detmers got 3 outs. And then in the top of the 6th, he walked George Springer. Bo Bichette singled, Springer to second. Vladdy got hit by pitch, bases loaded, and then Matt Chapman hit a grand slam. And then it's like Reed Detmers is toast. Game over for him.
Yeah.
He pitched to Dalton Varsho, and Dalton Varsho bunted and reached on a bunt single with the bases empty.
Jeez.
So, yeah, that does happen, unfortunately, for the Angels. So, that's an interesting idea. Limiting to no warm-up pitches.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not the move, obviously. Like, what do I know? But it's an idea.
I don't think it would be the move, because innings can end pretty suddenly, you know? Like on a double play or whatever, and then it's like, shit.
Yeah. No, imagine, like, they pull the pitcher, new guy comes in, no commercial break, boom, it just starts.
Oh, is that only for
starts, the batter's
mid-inning?
just like, oh, let's do it.
Mid-inning? Is that only for mid-inning pitching changes?
Yeah, mid-inning.
Oh,
mid-inning.
okay.
In the middle of the inning, you know, like, you're like, oh, well, let's see this at bat. Then they take out the pitcher. You're like, oh, okay, time commercial break. Imagine, like, the hype continued. Like, big at bat, Bryce Harper. But instead of, like...
Then a fat-ass reliever comes running in from left field.
Yeah.
And you watch him run all the way in.
Then you hear Whopper song, and, you know how it is.
I was thinking about it, like,
into it.
When you have relievers that come in to pitch a clean inning, take the starter out after their inning ends. Like, I don't know, if someone pitches 6 innings, you bring in the reliever for the next one. I was like, well, what if the other team's inning ends on a ground out double play and then they weren't warmed up all the way, but that starts an inning, so they get the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they'd get their time.
Interesting. All this interleague play is not great for me making recaps, too.
Oh, yeah. I think it's cool overall, but right now it's like a headache.
Still
nice.
Still don't think it's that great. I would have liked to see a more consistent interleague schedule. Like, maybe, wouldn't it be fun if they do kind of like the NFL does it, where each division plays a division from the other league, but like twice. How am I trying to phrase this? So every team plays games against their division, right? They play the same home and away series.
Yeah.
And then they play all of the rest of the opponents in their league, home and away, or however many, just random kind of. There's a method to the madness, but I don't know it off the top of my head, and I'm not going to go through it. What if they did interleague play like the American League West played the National League West. Every team home and away, and then the next year, the American League West would play the National League Central or whatever, and it rotates every 3 years because there's 3 divisions. So every 3 years, every guy would come to your ballpark.
Okay, so kind of like spread it out more rather than every team at once in 1 year.
So like this year, hypothetically, Dodgers play the Angels home and away, full series this time, not the.
Mm.
And I also think that the intra-league geographic matchups like Angels Dodgers that stays every year. Same with Giants A's every year. Mets Yankees every year. But like this year, the Angels would play the Dodgers, a home series and an away series, and the Angels would play the Giants home and away, the Rockies home and away, D-backs home and away, and the Houston Astros and Rangers and A's and Mariners would all do that same thing. And that would be their interleague play for the year. No more. But then the next year, they play the teams from the Central. I don't know. It feels weird playing every team. It does.
Yeah.
It's a little strange when I see like the Nationals penciled in on the Angels schedule, and then immediately after like another interleague series, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, it feels like there's like more than. I think it's just because we're used to like none, but like, I like what you're saying actually. That sounds like kind of cool, like like it'd be like way more balanced, but you still get the like cool, like play everyone type thing.
And you get the mystery matchups. Like part of the fun for me in the World Series is you have no idea what's gonna happen.
True, because they've never played each other.
Yeah, it's sometimes they have, but like they usually haven't, and it's like fun because these two teams are like matched up, so everyone can only speculate. There's no track record to base it. Like when you see the Houston Astros played so and so twice this year, and the Houston Astros swept both series. It's like so they're toast. The World Series is going to the Houston Astros.
Yeah. You just know.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time the Dodgers made it recently, it's been a team that I think, just haven't played the whole season.
Yeah.
Like, I have no clue what's going to happen, to be honest.
And I'm also interested if that, like, factors into managing styles. You know?
True.
Like, Dave Roberts is a really good manager, and I wonder if he is like that because he sees the teams all the time. You know? Like, maybe he knows the ins and outs of the Giants' bullpen, and he's seen how they've been using them this season. So he's been in the game, so he knows when to call in whenever. He knows when to call in whoever. And then you get to the World Series and you play the Astros, and Dave Roberts is like, fuck, I don't know anything about the Houston Astros.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe the analytics suffers.
Which is kind of fun. Knowing. Some people complain that there's too much analytics in baseball.
That just means that the other team's just good at baseball.
Yeah. Just better at baseball. Interesting. So we've decided designated pinch runner is a bad idea.
Yeah, crap.
Do you like universal DH?
I feel like it's something I can live with, you know? Like, I inherently don't like it, but because it has to be here, because the mob says so, I can at least get some enjoyment out of it. Like, I still find pros and cons, and in my opinion, the cons outweigh the pros, but because it has to be there, I'll at least enjoy the pros, you know?
So you'd ultimately rate it a thumbs down?
Yeah, if I was in a vacuum, I guess.
Pitch clock. Good or
Pitch
bad?
clock?
I'm saying pitch clock as a whole, not the current pitch clock. Like,
yeah.
Would you like the pitch clock if it was a little longer?
I think I'd like it a lot more if it was just like an extra 3.
I would too. It feels so rushed.
Also, if you could rework the whole like batter has to be looking at the pitcher thing, like the whole definitions of that.
It's kind of
like 8
essential,
seconds.
Though.
You know, like I just feel like if there's a little more time for everything to happen, I'd like it a lot more.
Yeah.
Like maybe 5 seconds. He has to be in the box, and maybe he doesn't have to look at the pitcher. Because what if he, doesn't want to? You know, like you know. Like the fact that he has to be looking up. Now it's like a judgment call. Like the ump's like, oh, your eyes weren't focused at the. Like, how do you know he was facing that way? You know, like then it's just a judgment call. So
Interesting. That would be really interesting. The only thing is, um, yeah, I don't know if like if a batter's spaced out, he's like in the box and he's just like, I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with his batting glove or whatever, so he's looking down. Would the pitcher just get to throw at 8 seconds? Just throw a free strike?
not in the rules right now.
Yeah, but like under your ideal system.
Yeah. Um, I think so because I think in that situation the batter just needs to call time if there's an issue. You know. Like I feel like once you're in the
That's
box, you're
fair.
either hitting or something happened and you need to call time. You know.
Yeah.
And you still
Are
get what,
batters
2 of those
allowed to
or
step
something?
out of the box? Like,
Like right now.
yeah.
I think
As
so,
long
but
as they're in by 8 seconds.
they get like 1 or 2, right? Like
Uh-huh.
it's like their timeout technically. You
Yeah.
know? I forget
Interesting.
exactly how many, but it's something like 1 or 2, just like the pitcher disengagements where you get a couple
I
in the
think
at
that
bat.
the I feel like batters should be able to step out of the box as long as it's on their time, you know?
Yeah,
Like
like if he
hang
steps
out
out,
outside of the box, just the gloves, do this, do that, whatever.
I think if he's in the box and gets out, the ump just says, "Time. This is your
Yeah.
timeout.
I
You
think
don't get
it's
this again."
I don't even think it needs to be a timeout as long as the batter's in by 8 seconds. And also, one thing that I really wish they would implement is the umpire automatically calling time for the batter instead of getting a strike call.
True.
Like
It just gets used.
if it's 3-2 and the batter hasn't called time, there's no reason for the I get that it's like on the batter or whatever, but it sucks when the batter strikes out without seeing the 3-2 pitch. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
just let it be
So
his timeout.
just have the ump say timeout, you violated the pitch clock variation, but you violated the pitch clock, but you had a timeout, so I used it for you.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about that.
And it
That
would
makes a
prevent
ton of sense.
things like the Cody Bellinger, where he got a standing ovation from the crowd.
Oh,
He took
yeah.
his helmet off and he's like, "Thank you guys" or whatever, and then strike one.
Yeah,
No,
instantly to start.
umpire should just. First of all, the umpire should just give him a minute, but like if the umpire is not gonna give him a minute, just have it be his timeout. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't think about that, but I definitely think it should just be auto used. Just count for it.
There's a lot of very strange. I don't know. I feel like that should just be a thing. It seems straightforward enough to implement right away and remove a bunch of issues.
Oh yeah. It doesn't take that hard, take that much time and like effort to get it in. It's a simple concept.
Yeah. Well, that's all for this episode, I think, unless there's something else you want to go over. I think there was something
No?
else that I wanted to do, but I forgot it, and we're at an hour, so you can skip it.
Till next time.
If you're listening, please hold the Angels in your thoughts and prayers. We need all the help we can get, and we're playing the Yankees. You know what's a bummer? I was just in New Jersey, which is, you can take it the train, and it's an hour to New York City, which
Yeah.
I did on Sunday. I would have killed to see the Angels play in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, you're right.
I missed it by one. I was one day off.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
a little bit
so
of a bummer,
sucky.
but whatever.
Dang. I feel
It's
bad
fun.
now.
Gives me an excuse to go back. One day I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna see a Mets game and a Yankees game in the same weekend, and probably a Phillies game because they're all right there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But
That sounds so fun.
and the Angels won, so that would have been nice too. Oh well.
Yeah, they did win. Good
Thanks
game.
for listening, everybody. We appreciate you. We'll see you hopefully on Monday.